Welcome to episode 5 of 96 American Spirituals for Ukulele. This progressive course begins with the simplest 2-chord songs and works up through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9-chord songs. You'll learn new chords all along the way, as well as strumming and fingerpicking techniques, all while exploring a rich heritage of moving, inspirational, and even humorous American spirituals. A big thank you to my patrons who help to make all my videos possible. You will have access to a free PDF of today's spiritual at patreon.com/uke. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Today we will be diving into Sinnerman. As always, we'll start with a playthrough and then cover any new chords and techniques. Our beginning note is an A. First string open. And our opening chord is a D minor. Here we go. 1, 2. Oh, Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? Oh, Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? Oh, Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? All on that day. Run to the sun. Sun, now won't you hide me? Run to the sun. Sun, now won't you hide me? Run to the sun. Sun, now won't you hide me? All on that day. Oh, Cinnamon, sun will be a burning. Oh, Cinnamon, sun will be a burning. Oh, Cinnamon, sun will be a burning all on that day. Run to the moon. Moon, now won't you hide me? Run to the moon. Moon, now won't you hide me? Run to the moon. Moon, now won't you hide me? All on that day. Oh, Cinnamon, moon will be a bleedin'. Oh, Cinnamon, moon will be a bleedin'. Oh, Cinnamon, moon will be a bleedin' all on that day. Run to the stars. Stars, now won't you hide me? Run to the stars. Stars, now won't you hide me? Run to the stars. Stars, now won't you hide me? All on that day. Oh, Cinnamon, stars will be a fallin'. Oh, Cinnamon, stars will be a fallin'. Oh, Cinnamon, stars will be a fallin' all on that day. Run to the sea. Sea, now won't you hide me? Run to the sea. Sea, now won't you hide me? Run to the sea. Sea, now won't you hide me? All on that day. Oh, Cinnamon, sea will be a sinkin'. Oh, Cinnamon, sea will be a sinkin'. Oh, Cinnamon, sea will be a sinkin' all on that day. Run to the rocks. Rocks, now won't you hide me? Run to the rocks. Rocks, now won't you hide me? Run to the rocks. Rocks, now won't you hide me? All on that day. Oh, Cinnamon, rocks will be a rollin'. Oh, Cinnamon, rocks will be a rollin'. Oh, Cinnamon, rocks will be a rollin' all on that day. Oh, run to the Lord. Lord, now won't you hide me? Run to the Lord. Lord, now won't you hide me? Run to the Lord. Lord, now won't you hide me all on that day? Oh, Cinnamon, ought to been a prayin'. Oh, Cinnamon, ought to been a prayin'. Oh, Cinnamon, ought to been a prayin' all on that day. Run to the devil, devil, won't you hide me? Run to the devil, devil, won't you hide me? Run to the devil, devil, won't you hide me all on that day? Devil says, Cinnamon, step right in. Devil says, Cinnamon, step right in. Devil says, Cinnamon, step right in. All on that day. All right, so there you go, Cinnamon. Sorry for that little memory bloop in the middle there, right before the Run to the Lord verse. Anyway, so that's going to happen to anybody. You can do what I did and just do a vamp, okay? All right, so a vamp is when you're just... Except try not to have the look of panic that I probably had on my face, right? If you're going to do a vamp, right? And just hang on to a chord until you come in again. But that's a good way to stall. The worst thing to do, of course, is to just stop, right? And so just keep going. With a song with that many verses, you're bound to have a memory slip up somewhere. And it's always good to just press forward and fake it until the end. All right, so Cinnamon. As far as chords go, we have our D minor chord, okay? We've got first finger, first fret on the second string, second finger, second fret on the fourth string, and the third finger, second fret on the third string. And then for our C chord, we're going to use our pinky instead of our third finger on the third fret of the first string. And the reason for that is so we can make a nice smooth transition between these two chords. If you use your traditional third finger on the third fret of the first string for this, when you're switching between that and D minor, you have to leap. Anyway, it just makes for a less fluid transition. You can do that a lot quicker with using the pinky. Okay, so pinky is useful. Okay, go ahead and learn it. Learn how to use it early on. A lot of people like to try and stick to 3 fingers for fingering chords and ignore the pinky, but sometimes it's just not possible, and so you might as well get used to it. All right, now as far as techniques go, I was just doing a simple 1 strum per chord there on the O Cinnamon verses, and on the Run verses, just before them I did a ramp up, okay? And basically I just went like, all on that day, right? Okay, and then I was just doing, I did a strum, and then I did thumb, strum, touch, strum, touch, strum, touch, strum, right? Touch. So a touch is just when you're kind of hitting the fourth string, and maybe you might hit the third string, but you don't want to go full through, because it just doesn't add the character that you want, right? So you go, so, right? So you can hear those touches. They're there, but they're very light, and they add a lot of nuance. All right, and then we could break into a Chattanooga strum, and this is a fast Chattanooga. Okay, so we think of the Chattanooga as being all ups and downs with accents on beats 2 and 4. This is in double time though, and so it's not really on 2/4. So it's easier to just think of the Chattanooga name itself: Chattanooga, 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 with the accents being on the noogs, right? Chattanooga, 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 Chattanooga. Now, this is one of those techniques where you just want to practice it all by itself until you feel really comfortable with it. Now, I've done a lot of this strum. It's one of my favorite go-to strums. And so you just want to be sure that when you're doing this, you're not using tons of like flick power from your joint here, your knuckle joint, okay? I actually injured myself about 2 years ago, and I had to take the summer off of playing entirely because I injured this knuckle joint and put too much stress on it while I was teaching my classes, because I teach both youth and adult classes, and I was teaching 3 or 4 classes a week. And I have a tendency to get a little bit overexcited when I'm teaching in person and hammer on my ukulele a little bit too hard. And so you want to make sure that you're always gentle with your hands. Repetitive stress injuries are very common amongst instrumentalists, and so always be aware of how hard you're playing, right? And just save the hard moments for accents and very short periods instead of just playing hard all the time. We really want to be playing as lightly as possible most of the time, and not hammering away on our ukuleles trying to get tons of volume out of them. If you need volume, use an amplifier, okay? Don't try and get more volume out of this instrument than it was designed for, okay? Because you can hammer on it all you want, but all you're going to be doing is injuring yourself, like I did. And so that's just a caution, okay? Most of this motion is not going to be here in this joint here. Most of this motion is in these rotator muscles, right? Okay, and it's very subtle. I'm actually rotating now more than I am when I'm doing the strums. But if you look at this, you can see that this is largely coming from my wrist, right? And my wrist is rotating and giving a little bit of a chop at the same time. But my finger, you notice, is just not doing very much. I'm letting the wrist do the work, right? Now it's when you start flicking with your finger really hard, that's when you might get some kind of injury in your knuckle, okay? And that's just a caution from my own sad experience. It was not fun, okay? I'm recovered now. But occasionally I do still feel some residual effects start to creep up in my knuckle here if I'm not concentrating on taking things easy and playing lightly, and it's probably something I'm going to have to be aware of for the rest of my playing days. So it does warn me, back off or you're going to be sorry. So if you do have a repetitive stress injury like that, there are other things you can do. You know, you can learn to strum different ways. You can start using a pick. And so it wouldn't be the end of my life and the end of my ukulele playing if I did that. In fact, you can just forego strumming altogether and just go to finger picking. And a fingerstyle technique. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's some players that do nothing but a fingerstyle technique in their playing. Anyway, getting back to these techniques. So we've got our Chattanooga strum, a really fast one. And just that ramp up to it where we just go, right? And I think the ramp up really helps. It's just weak, strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, touch, strum, touch, strum. That really helps a transition between the slow one per chord thing and the fast Chattanooga, right? So that's just a nice touch to add in. Again, once again, that's all completely optional. The common strum would work very nice on this if you aren't up to doing a really super fast Chattanooga yet. Let me do this one. Run to the sun, sun, now won't you hide me? Run to the sun, sun, now won't you hide me? And that's another favorite go-to strum, is that common strum. And I don't want to cover it in detail, but I'll just say what it is. It's just down, down, up, up, down, up. Okay, and that's one of the most common strums, which is why I call it the common strum. It seems like everybody uses that strum for in like ukulele clubs and all across the world. I've even seen T-shirts printed with D, D-U, U-D, right? Printed on them, right? Sort of an inside joke for all of us strummers. All right, and so basically that's all there is to it. And I think this is a sad and a funny spiritual at the same time. A bit of blues. It sort of cheers my spirits, which is what the blues is meant to do. And this song has more than a bit of the blues in it. Now, technically, it's not a blues song because it doesn't use blues chords, but it has that same kind of, well, this is sad stuff, but we're going to enjoy singing about it, right? So anyway, hope you enjoy Sinnerman. If you would like the PDF, please visit my patreon.com/uke page and become a patron, and you will get the PDF for that, as well as for all my other videos that I'm making now. And I'm starting some new courses on some different subjects besides spiritual, so watch out for those. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, get notifications, click the bell icon, and you should be good to go to get notifications on those. And once again, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you're having a great time playing. Learn up, and we'll see you next time.